Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kim, and I want to be brutally honest about today's topic, and that is there's no shortcut to heal childhood trauma, and there is no quick fix. It's really not an overnight process. And if you're looking for that magic pill or your shortcut, you're really in the wrong place because healing takes time. And honestly, it takes more time than most people are willing to admit. And we need to accept that that's just the way that it is, so we're not setting ourselves up for failure. We live in a world that glorifies instant gratification, fast food, fast internet, fast results. But guess what? Healing doesn't really give a damn about your impatience, and it operates on its own timeline, not yours. And I know that from personal experience. And that was a really hard pill to swallow. And when I started my healing journey, I had just left my teaching career and I was really struggling with adjusting to being a stay-at-home mom. I was really struggling to adjust to no longer having my teaching career that I so desperately wanted for so many years and then burn out from after 6 years. And I naively thought that if I went to therapy, she was going to say, no problem. It's just a little identity crisis. Here are 3 easy ways to fix it. And I had no idea that my misery in my teaching journey, in my teaching career, was actually because of unhealed childhood trauma. And so, had I gone into it with a different perspective, a different mindset, perhaps I would have been more prepared for the long haul rather than this quick fix that I was expecting. And so, ironically enough, when I started this journey and the therapist started throwing labels at me left and right, she started throwing, codependency, anxiety, childhood emotional neglect, all of enmeshment, all of these things. Her solution actually was to take a pill, to take an antidepressant or an anti-anxiety med, to make the pain stop, to give me the quote unquote stairs, to climb my way out of the ditch that I didn't feel like I was clawing my way out every single day. And so I think also too, on some level, there is this quick fix mentality among healthcare professionals. And I'm not saying all healthcare professionals, but some. And I fell into the trap of having a therapist that was one of those people. And so I know you're probably thinking, like, well, okay, Kim, so why does it have to take so long? Why can't I just move on from it? And the real reason is that you're trying to unravel years and maybe even decades of this deep-seated pain and trauma, and you can't just snap your fingers and fix that. So you have to really be ready to commit to the long haul, because if you're not, you might as well just quit now. You're going to stay where you are and you're going to feel miserable and stuck and frustrated. And maybe that's it for you. I hope not. I hope you want more than that, because I want more than that for you. And so I like to say that healing is really like climbing a mountain. It's hard, it's exhausting, it's frustrating. You slip sometimes and you slide back down a little bit before you get back to where you were. And so there are going to be times on this journey where you want to feel like you are ready to give up. I had those times so many times in my journey. I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I would rather stay where I am right now. I'll just deal with it, because at least I know the evil that I'm managing, than continuing to do this and have things keep popping up, having more layers of the onion peeled back, peeled back, peeled back. I'll just stay right where I am. It'll make life easier, even though I'm miserable and I feel like my soul is being sucked right out of me. So I had to really dig in and say that it wasn't worth that. More, not just for me, but I didn't want my kids to see that kind of mom growing up. I didn't want that to be my legacy for them. I really didn't want that to be my legacy for myself. And so I knew that the only way to get to the top of the struggle was to just keep going. And it was step by painful step. But here's the thing I want you to know. If you don't have patience, you're going to sabotage your own healing. And I definitely am not always a patient person. That's one of my things that I am always striving to be more, and that is patient. And so I would get, frustrated and try to fast track things, and I'll just read this book or I'll just listen to this podcast and that will give me the answer, and then I'll just move on. And what I did was I ended up making it harder for myself, because I would go in these rabbit holes of learning and it would just be this endless spiral of information, and then I couldn't actually take that information and apply it to what I was actually going through. So I was actually doing more harm than good by being impatient. And trust me, you will get frustrated. You're going to doubt the process just like I did, because it's going to feel like at times there might not be any growth, there might not be any movement, or things feel so bad that you are having to work through that you would rather really just not do it at all. But if you continue to not have patience, you're always going to end up back at square one. Inevitably, before you know it, that's where you'll be back at. And you're going to be even more discouraged. And so no one wants that. And you don't want to put that on yourself because you do want to heal. You know that there is something better on the other side of this pain. And so that's really where you need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because healing really does take a massive amount of patience. It's going to force you to face everything that you're running from. It's going to force you to face things that you didn't even know that you were running from. Like me, I had no idea I was running from childhood trauma. I had no idea I was running from the trauma of being a domestic abuse survivor. I really thought I was having an identity crisis from leaving my teaching career. I really thought that was the only thing in my box that I would be taking out and working through. Little did I know there was a heck of a lot more deep down in that box. And so it's not supposed to be easy. And if it were easy, it would already be done by now. We wouldn't even have trauma if it was easy, because we would be able to just say, oh, no big deal. Oh, no big deal. No big deal. And just let it roll and float away in a little bubble out into the universe and not have to deal with it. So really complaining about how long it's going to take is not going to do any good either. If you spend every day complaining, you're not going to get anywhere. So every day that you can spend healing, and every day that you can tap into whatever level of patience you have, is going to be another day that you're not shackled by your past. So really, patience is your weapon in this fight. So if you don't use it, you're going to lose the battle. But here's the bottom line, the most important thing of all: healing takes time. And I want you to accept that, embrace that, and don't let your impatience or your frustration or your anger or your bitterness or your resentment rob you of the life that you deserve. So you can either commit to the process and go along with the flow and embrace the journey, or you can stay stuck where you are. The choice is yours. And I know that if you're watching this video, you actually do want to do the work. You do want to heal. You want to be on the other side of the trauma. So just know that I am here to support you. You are supported, and that is where this community comes in. So thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll hope you tune into another.